I am recording it as of now.
Okay, great. Great. All right. So we'll go ahead and get started. My name is Jason Koloski. I am EVP of Alliances for Verenia. And thank you all for taking the time to join us today. And a little bit of an agenda, just so everyone kind of knows where we're at and what we're going to get into. I'll do some quick introductions of our team, and then talk a little bit about our company, why our customers chosen Verenia, a little bit of that, and some benefits of being an agnostic platform the way we are and the way we're able to integrate with other solutions and how we differ from some other solutions. And then I'm going to pass things off to my colleague here, and he's going to give a demonstration kind of tailored towards the topic of today, which is dealers and how to get dealer engagement. And then we'll talk about a couple of case studies related to that, and then open it up for some Q&A. Thank you, Brian and Gary, for hosting this. So the PeopleSense team, I just wanted to give a quick props to them. Thank you, appreciate you guys bringing us in. I think it's been a year since we've done one of these, so that's good timing to kind of give a refresher to some folks and hopefully brought on some new folks who are interested in the topic. On the Verenia side, again, I'm Jason Koloski, EVP Alliances, also been involved in sales. Also, we have Kevin Thomas, who's our industry expert at Verenia for all things configurator, CPQ, and omnichannel B2B e-commerce solutions. He's also operating pretty heavily in pre-sales right now as well, so we have a lot of interest in the products. Company overview. Our motto, our mission is to make our customers easier to buy from. We're continuously innovating our products, and our other big motto is building the best customer service and teams in the industry to help our clients. We were founded in 2013, about the middle of the year, and then we've garnered a ton of success and have a lot of customers who are really creating digital transformation with our tool set. We currently, for this particular group, we have about 8 Made2Manage customers using the tools, and then we've got combined with Intuitive as well, and then we have about 2 more that we're getting close to committing projects with and get them moving on some omni-channel initiatives. In 2018, our projects have grown, and we've grown triple digits for the last. This will be the 4th year that we've gone total on a growth path with our solutions, and we continue to innovate and give more tools out there for folks to engage with their dealers and their outside sales channels. Why choose Verenia to work with? There's a lot of solutions out there. We certainly have a long history between Kevin and I. We go back probably to the mid-90s in manufacturing and product configuration, and we've worked with Intuitive and Made2Manage probably 15 years going back and working on some of those integrations and some of those solutions. We do have 250,000 omni-channel users, meaning internal sales, customer service, customers, dealers, contractors, distributors. So we can support a wide berth of user types for our solutions. We provide web lead generation for a lot of our products, product information. We do have a fully featured sales solution, and we're also very flexible, right? In that way, where you can actually build your own tailored sales solutions right on the platform as well. We have strong manufacturing support, bills of materials routings, and manufacturing data, costing, and then we do tout ourselves. We feel like we have one of the most innovative tool sets in the industry, and we're going to show you a little bit about that today. Some of this might be a little repetitive, but we have very flexible integrations. So we've worked with Made2Manage, Intuitive. We work with a lot of CRMs. I almost can't even name them all. We've got Sugar CRM. We've across the board. Because of our platform capability and the APIs and our SQL connectors and our technology, we can really use data and push data in a lot of different ways. We are true omni-channel, so meaning we can set up these really dynamic workflows for all different user types with different security. We can be standalone, or we can be tacked onto your existing ERP or CRM. We have a lot of workflows for guided selling, upselling, cross-selling, discounting, anything that would serve your business for your sales processes for your custom products. Full quote and order solution, self-service portals. The solution in itself is really the portal, so that you can engage with your customers in different ways. And we can tout 100% accuracy on quotes and orders when the rules are set up inside the system. Put together custom workflows. So depending on how you do business, how you sell your products, and then do aftercare with your customers, you can customize your own workflows inside the solution. We can train folks to use the system pretty easily, and so it's easy to manage and easy to maintain. I mean, it's a relative term because it's every bit of your business, so you obviously take it seriously and there's implementation involved, but ultimately the tools are accessible and pretty easy to use for any type of user who knows a little bit of way around a computer. We're built on responsive design, so that you can use this on any device with an internet connection, and we're staying modern in the marketplace, and we're helping a lot of customers with digital transformation. A lot of solutions out there are still on premise or fake cloud, basically, where they just host it for you. We are true multi-tenant, single source cloud. So the benefit there is we've got the ability to respond quickly to bugs. Most of the time we fix them before anybody even sees them. We're completely scalable. We can support all those hundreds of thousands of users every year. We've almost never had downtime. I think the only downtime we've had was when Amazon went down for a few hours a few years ago. But other than that, we're completely always available. We've got great UI UX experience. We can build public-facing retail with our industry-leading experience. We've got customers who are doing lead gen, and one of the customers we're going to talk about today and dive into further their implementation is Bennington Marine, and they've got this public-facing interface that has been a boom for them, and really is the start of their sales process. And also, I like to, I feel like we've got probably some of the best customer service in the industry. When you're a Verenia customer, you've got a direct line to myself as an account manager or as a advocate for the customers, as well as the people in our organization. Where our success is completely built on our customer success, and that shines through in everything. And so I don't want to waste too much time with slides. I want to get this over to Kevin and start talking about Bennington, but did want to at least set the stage for the use case. They're one of the biggest they are the biggest pontoon boat manufacturer in the U.S. They're using this for full omni-channel dealer engagement and dealer tools. They needed a solution that could give that guided selling experience, and then also do all that order validation for dealers, reps, and then even aftercare, warranty, parts, documents, etc. So they use Verenia CPQ every corner of the solution, and they've really tailored it to make it their own, to fit their business processes. So they can really have full visibility and 360-degree view of the business they're doing with all their different channels. And so I think with that, I'm going to go ahead and pass this back to Kevin, and we'll take a little deeper dive into the Bennington solution. And then also after that, I'll talk briefly about another Made2Manage customer. Bennington's not a Made2Manage intuitive customer, but they have a great highlight of what they do with their dealers. So I will talk about another Made2Manage customer who is actually leveraging the solution in a different way, and we'll talk about that use case a little bit, and then we'll also make you available for a video that really dives into their solution, so you can get a different picture of how another customer is using it. And that one particularly has Made2Manage as their ERP. So how would I get Kevin presenting? There you go. You got it.
Okay, let's see here. Monitor 2. Share. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Kevin Thomas here. Hopefully you can see my slide. I guess I should check with at least one of you, and before I continue on. Can anyone see my slide?
I can see your slide.
Good to go. Up top?
Yep, we're good.
Excellent. Okay, great.
One little piece of housekeeping, and maybe if everyone could, if you're not muted and you're not Kevin, maybe mute, and that way we won't have any. There's a couple little pokes coming through the audio. That way Kevin can certainly get his messaging completed, and we'll save some time for questions afterwards. Sound good?
Great, thanks. Okay, so yeah, getting started. Jason, thank you for the intro. And yes, Bennington is the customer that we're going to focus on today. They have a full gamut of B2C and B2B, all the way from customers or just anyone coming on their website and submitting quotes for boats, all the way through dealers logging in and doing virtually everything through the system. So we'll kind of run through that a little bit, and it really I don't want to spend too much time configuring so much as talking about the B2B and the dealer side, but anyone is welcome, obviously, to just jump into that Bennington site anytime you want to and play around in their boat configurator. So basically, when Bennington was looking for a product, they really kind of encompass a lot of different things. It's not just the CPQ. They needed a dealer portal. They needed a build a boat capability, and they really came to use this thing called apps that I'm going to get into in a little bit of detail. Basically, when they went through their evaluation process, yeah, the first thing was, do we need a CPQ? Yeah, that didn't eliminate any CPQ vendors, of course. But they needed a build a boat, which really is a visual experience as you're, and so, this may or may not be relevant to some of you folks, but certainly to them, it was a very important part of their user experiences for people to actually see the product as they're configuring it. So that was one of the criteria as well. That eliminated several of the vendors. Then really kind of narrowed it down to less than a handful, if any, when they started getting to the full capabilities of dealer portal. And so then finally, it came down to us because we really had it all. We had the ability not just to have a dealer portal, but they had a lot of custom stuff that they wanted to do themselves that we also helped them with. And because we have this thing called apps, I'll explain that later, we are able to really meet all their needs. So all of this together really gives them that full dealer experience that they were looking for. So we're going to kind of focus on very quickly, just to set the stage with the B2C part here, and that kind of leads into all the dealer stuff that happens there. So we're going to go head over to the Bennington site. I'm just going to walk you through that really quickly, just to kind of go through the flow though. First, to show what we'll be doing. We'll kind of start here, and you got anyone logging in and into the Bennington site. Basically, you do the build it button, right? So you check out all their stuff. You want to configure a boat, they've got a button there. You click build it. That's going to bring up Bennington, by the way, has like 180 different models, all extremely complex, amazing. It's not like a lot of these cars that you can configure, and there's only a few selections here and there. There's just virtually hundreds of options on each one of these models. So you would need a guided selling process just to find the right product or model to configure. Then you're into the full configuration mode inside of Verenia off their website. The prospective customer is going through all the configuration process there, pricing it, quoting it. Finally, when they're done, they get to the point where now this is the first that ever would put any of their information in. So it's going to prompt them for who are you? Hey, let's find a dealer near you. We'll quote this boat out based on the MSRP price that was provided. You find the dealer next to you, and you basically hit the submit button, and you're done. And what that does is it fires off, among other things, we'll talk about that. It fires off a lead to the dealer that was selected from the dealer locator, and the dealer gets, among other things, they get an email notification that someone has come in and has configured a particular boat. So that's the process. I'm going to run through real quick here. And let me just jump out here from slide to real life. So here I am in the Bennington, on the Bennington website. You can see the build and price button there. And in this case here, it's going to, now you're inside of Verenia at this point. Okay, so we've launched from their website into the build a boat. You can see you've got various high-level series. This is what the first choice might be. And maybe I say, you know, this looks interesting. I'll pick the S series. you can see what happens. Certain of these features are going to be made unavailable, such as same with floor plans. Only these 3 are available. Certain lengths are grayed out. Some are available just by my selecting a given product. So this is, you know, pretty traditional CPQ stuff where you can show and hide things. Myself configuring a boat, I want one with a bar. It doesn't have that with the S series. Instead of picking and selecting and hoping to find one, I just select this, choose bar here, and now you can see what it's doing. It's going backwards and telling me what series and what popular features are available or not with the bar. Just that simple example there kind of shows off the multi-directional capabilities with Verenia's configurator. A lot of the configurators really have trouble handling that because of their top-down design. It pretty much forces you to always go back to the top and start over. So enough about that. We'll just kind of jump into the scenario here. I'm going to pick a Q series, and I'm going to say go ahead and search for models. It's found 2 of them here. I'll pick this one, and now I'm into the full process of configuring a boat in this case. You can see the visual aspect of this. They'll show the boat as you're doing your configuring. You got a couple different views. You can see down here, nice clean interface to select your options, different ways of displaying things, whether you show, you know, images, whether you show drop downs, radio buttons, whatever makes sense. And just go through the process real quickly. Again, I don't want to dwell too much on this, but stuff happens, right? I clicked a certain option here and it's telling me, wait, we defaulted a bunch of stuff just when you picked that model, and now you went and changed the color. Well, that's going to deselect some of these things down the road that you had picked, and we just want to warn you that, so we don't want to wipe them out without telling you. I'll say, okay, go ahead. Also notified me that there was a certain option that goes along with this. I can pick either one of these and then add it to the build right from here, and on, right? So I'll go through a little bit more of this stuff here just to get enough into the boat to make some sense here. Let's say, for instance, I want to get a graphics package which goes on here. I don't really necessarily know that. I hit the information thing. It shows me this is what's going to happen, what we're going to see on the boat. Well, that's interesting. I'll pick that. Okay, I get it now. See, it pasted it there. It also repicked. Notice that I had picked this ocean blue, but it had made the decision that if you're going to have that splash package, you really have to go with metallic white. So again, it kind of ran upstream and made some selections for me and redid some things. So that multi-directional capability within the configurator is very key here. And these are tabs going across. There's a lot, like I said, there's a lot going on when you're configuring a boat. I'll just pick a few things here to make it a little bit more robust with my selections. Notice the price changing as I'm making my selection. Not one of these deals where you have to wait till you're done or what have you. Click by click, everything happens. I'll go to flooring, pick some flooring. I'll go to engine, performance, make some selections here, and additional options. Pick a few of these here, and maybe a little bit there. Just buzzing through. Price changing as I go. This is the MSRP, right? So we're getting the retailer price. I can see the window sticker, dynamic window sticker at any point in time. This is all the stuff I've ordered. Good to go. So I think that's good. Yeah, here's standard specs here. This is just the stuff that comes along standard with the boat. So really anything that you need to make that configuration process happen. And at the point where someone gets interested enough to send this quote, this is where you get to where you identify who you are. Maybe you want to check out the freight costs, other useful information, rate the process here, and then launch into the dealer finder, get yourself a dealer, and then you're pretty much done. So we've really kind of fulfilled what you saw in that one slide. We went through that whole process of really getting this thing into the system. So when I hit the submit button here, what's going to happen in addition to firing off an email to the dealer that I select from the dealer locator is it's going to go through some more processes. And to explain that a little bit, we'll get back to this slide here. So now we're going to be talking about the dealer portal. we just walked through all this. The person had come in, they finished off the process, they hit submit, generated, sent that email to the dealer. Now the dealer starts to take over, and this is going to be the day in the life of the dealer that we'll be talking about now. They're going to log in to Verenia with their own secured login, and this is one of, I don't know if they've got 700 dealers or more with Bennington, so they all use this system. So they use this to manage their leads, among other things, but they use it for a lot of stuff. In fact, and by they, I mean everyone associated with Bennington, whether it's dealers, whether it's Bennington sales reps coming in to do quoting. Dealers will come in and they'll configure their own boats to have on the lot. So dealers are configuring stuff. People are configuring off the internet. People are walking into the dealership and working with the dealer and doing configuring there. The sales reps, so on and so forth. The Bennington themselves will configure boats when they're going to take them out to the boat shows. And I don't know if customers actually log in their own portal, but that's certainly something that's capable with our system. So I just added this one at the end, but that's the idea. Give your customers or your key customers a login, and they can manage their own quotes and orders. So all of that stuff happens inside a single source here and is fully managed throughout the whole process. So what we're going to do next is we're going to kind of walk through that process, the life of the dealer. Just pick a dealership here. Again, this could happen in different scenarios. One scenario is that same person here that went through this process. Now they're talking to the dealer on the phone. The dealer gets back to them, sales rep from the dealer, and so they're going to continue their process. They get invited into the dealership, and so they'll be dealing with an existing configuration, because when they saved that and submitted it, that got saved off here into the system. So when they show up at the dealership, they can just enter the whatever confirmation number or name or what have you, and bring that configured boat right up. But meanwhile, other customers or prospective customers are just going to be walking into the dealership. They're kind of starting the process from here, and that's a scenario where you're doing a new configuration from scratch. So when dealers log in here to the portal, they can support either one of these scenarios here. Towards the end of that process, when they're done, and I just wanted to put this out there because this is part of their process, we're really not going to focus on it much today, but once you've configured and ordered a boat, then it goes through the review process. And there's a bunch of workflows with these boats where it has to go through several approval cycles before you finally download it. And this is where the intuitive Made2Manage world is this information ends up in the ERP after all the good stuff has happened here. But again, I'm going to kind of focus on the dealer side of this right now. So we're going to go in live to the next part of the demonstration, dealer side of things. Dealer portal, when you install Verenia, you pretty much get this stuff. It comes along with it in various flavors. So you'll have secured logins. You can assign users, give them permissions. You can let them do the configuring. If this makes sense, you could have that built in. Certainly the quote and order management is there, all the pricing, the ability to generate documents, all of that kind of comes with the deal. Then we've got this thing where I've referred to before called apps. Really, it's more the custom stuff. So when Bennington really wanted to round out what they do, they had other things that they needed to do. They all the way down to ordering parts and warranty, tracking, serial number tracking, so on, dealer planner, some other stuff I'll show you here. Some of this stuff, because we're able to build additional, you don't just build a configurator, you can build apps to do virtually anything. And that's where Bennington really leveraged the product, and they built these capabilities into the system. And you use the same toolkit that you use to build product to build these applications. So you're basically building applications around what you do with, in many cases or most cases, zero programming. You're just using the same kind of capabilities to build user interfaces, logic, so on and so forth, to manage all these processes. So that, I think, is, yep, I jumped ahead of there. So let me jump out and log in from a dealer standpoint. So login, secured, lands me right about here. So let's just say I'm a sales rep for a given dealer. Actually, in reality, the one login that we have for Bennington that we were given is an admin one. So this gives me a lot more power than just a sales rep at a dealership. I can actually do any kind of admin stuff. I can, so there's certain things that really wouldn't apply if I was just a sales rep at a dealer or a manager at a dealer. But for aside from these two, I'm toggling back and forth. The rest of these things that I'm going to cover is all available to dealerships and those who work there and that log in. So if a salesperson, for instance, logs in, they'd be greeted with this kind of a dashboard here. What they see up here is messages and updates. This is Bennington telling them what's going on, basically. Hey, we got some shows, or we got some of this stuff happening. So when you log in the morning, maybe you get a new, you get advised that there's a new promotion or whatever's going on here. So this stuff is managed by Bennington and made broadcast to all their dealers. They get it instantly. In addition or in replacement of, sending emails everywhere. This is, again, kind of a one-stop shop place for everyone that has to do with Bennington from the dealerships to know what's going on. So they'll see this stuff here. They'll also have some user settings. This is where a given user can log in and say, hey, I want to set these, this is the way I want when I'm configuring a boat, either for my dealership or with a customer standing right next to me. I want to use the long form versus tab. That's just different ways of showing the user interface. What kind of pricing do I want to show? MSRP or sales? What's the default? What status do I want to start things off in? And do I want to, prompt for premium stuff or what have you? Basically, some settings that you as a user can set up as your default settings. In the case where, if this were the case where there was an internet lead, and let's just say also this would be filled in, right? The dealership would be filled in if I logged in as a dealer. And this is the quick way to get there. If you've got an appointment with, let's say you're a sales rep and you called the guy who sent and the lead came in from, hey, meet me at 3 p.m. They come in, you can just type in their order number and bring the boat that they configured right up. You wouldn't necessarily have to go to this page here, which I'll go to, which is really managing all the quotes and orders. I'll pick a dealership here. Again, this would default if I actually logged in as an actual dealer. And we'll go here. So these are dealers. I don't think I have any internet leads for this particular fake dealership. But we've got some orders out there that have progressed. And this is really the kind of workflow. So you've got, most stuff starts off with internet leads unless someone comes into the dealership, then it would end up here or here. So it usually progresses in from left to right though. So you got an internet lead, it turns into a quote in one fashion or another, always converts from a quote to an order at some point. And that's all the dealer, that's what happens at dealerships. Then after that point, you've got more approvals that require that the Bennington, this would be a regional sales manager at Bennington, has to approve an order coming from the dealership. They'll approve it. Maybe they'll make some tweaks, or maybe they'll pass it to inside sales. Again, that's another Bennington person. So these two are Bennington folks, and they can make some tweaks or what have you. And that has to go back to the dealer then, so the dealer can review it, make sure that's good. And then they'll go ahead and approve it. And finally, after they've approved it, it's called accepted. And at that point, it's getting ready to be manufactured and no one can make changes. So it's really passed back and forth between internet to dealership to Bennington, back to dealership, and finally being approved. And they can control all of that workflow through various means. I think for the most part, it's just if you have the permissions, you can just say, hey, go ahead and move this to the next status, okay? Things you can do from here, you can, if I click on this, this will take me directly into that boat that was just configured, or maybe I just want a quick view and I don't want to go into the configuration. I just want to take a look at it, from a summary viewpoint. That's going to show me a summary of the boat that was configured. Lots of other stuff you can do from here. You can print a brochure of the boat. You can specify what kind of pricing you want to show up on the printed form. Does it get emailed to someone, or do I just bring up a document in front of me? A lot of options for printing nice looking, finished proposals of the boat that was configured. I'll go close that out, and various other things you can copy, delete, so on from here. So really, this is the how to manage your quotes, orders, leads, and so on. And this is geared, again, depending on who logs in, they're going to see just their stuff or what they're allowed to. A dealer manager might see everything for just their sales reps within that dealership, right? But if you logged in as like I did, kind of as an admin from Bennington, I can see virtually anything, and I can narrow it down to dealerships, or I can pick any given dealership as well. So single source of all the data, but just depends on who logs in. We know who the user is, what group they belong to, what their role is, and so on. And that can condition what happens throughout the entire system. So that's kind of how orders and quotes are managed. Now I'm going to go a little bit into the behind the scenes of what else dealers can do in their portal. Okay, so basically we've got a tab here for dealer tools. I'll just kind of run through a few of those to show you what goes on. Dealer boat builder settings. This one's pretty interesting. This is basically for this dealership, which is dealer number 50 Pontoon LLC. This is where the dealers come in themselves, and by series, you can see I got the Q series, R series, G series. They can set their margin rates. So, and they can do it based on category. So maybe the base boat, I want the margin to be this. Any of the engine stuff would be at this rate, and any of the options would use this rate here as well. They set this, and then when anyone walks into the dealership or they're working with a customer, these get applied to the MSRP, as well as freight. These are kind of the one-time charges, freight, prep, discounts, and so on. So in setting it up this way, very simple for the dealers to completely control everything. And from Bennington's viewpoint, it's also a huge savings, because imagine 700 different dealers all emailing in what kind of rates and so on that they want applied, and Bennington having to manage that themselves. They don't have to do that, because the dealers are able to come in here, they're able to self-manage all their stuff, and these things just apply when that particular dealer brings up the boat to be configured. These rates get applied. Okay, so that's a dealer tool called Dealer Boat Settings. And user management, I won't go there to be showing a bunch of people's emails and so on, but basically this is where the dealership themselves can manage their own users. So let's just say a dealership has 12 salespeople. Maybe they all have their own users and logins and would have different permissions. Some are sales managers, some are just reps or what have you. So they can control who those users are. They can kind of define the properties of each one of their users, and that will dictate what they can do and can't do within the system. Okay, we'll go on to Dealer Planner. This is really kind of unique. I don't know how many other manufacturers have this kind of relationship with their dealers, but in this case here, they're actually giving the dealers a place to come in and forecast how many boats that they're going to configure and order for their lot for the year. And in fact, I think they maybe even kind of make their dealers do that. They kind of got to sign off on this, on their forecast, so on and so forth. And the Bennington folks can at any point log in and they can check the actuals against the forecast. They can look at history. What did I do last year? What did this dealer do? So on and so forth. So they can kind of really gauge if that, what that dealer's performance is living up to their forecast and so on. So kind of a neat little capability here. Again, may or may not make sense to many of you, but just another example of some real customized tools. And again, the coordination between the manufacturer and the dealership here. Other things you can do, document depot. This is where they control all the documents. There's tons of them with these boats, and there's different categories. There's service documents. There's training documents. You can see my subcategories are changing depending on what types of documents I'm looking for. If I pick sales, Maybe I want to see my dealer manuals. There's some kind of third category. If I just hit search now here, these are all the documents that I can bring up at a moment's notice. So if you're at the dealership or if you're a sales rep or what have you, very easy, again, single source area to get at all the marketing or sales marketing collateral, get at that information, download it, print it off, email it to a customer, whatever you need to do. It's all there for your taking. And let's move on. Window stickers, this is pretty interesting. Excuse me. So in this case here, I think I got to pick this guy again. And so for this particular dealership here, oh, no, I'll pick this one. This one had none. This has some. Yeah, so for this particular dealership, these are the boats that are on their lot right now. So, and they got them at a certain price. And they, if you go out there, you look in the, you know, think of going out to buy a car, you get the window sticker on a car. That's basically what this allows you to do. It allows you to dynamically build and print out window stickers for your products. In this case here, I'm going to go ahead and look at this thing. When I bring this particular boat up, you can see it's the 20 Cruise Metallic Sorel. This is the window sticker of all the options that was. So when the dealership configured this boat to be on their lot, they picked this particular configuration of a boat. This is that full window sticker here. And when they're going to print it out there, they will have options as to how they want it to, you know, how they want it to look. Do they want the sell price on there, MSRP on there, a combination of both, or no pricing at all? Do they have any dealer installed options that they're putting on as well? They can define those and they can price those out. A lot of different little tweakies here. Let's just say that the boat's been sitting out there a while. Maybe they want to take the price down. They can start tweaking the margins, and that will affect the ultimate price on that window sticker, additional charges, whatever, and finally print that, and that'll print out a window sticker that goes on the boat. So pretty cool. Again, kind of a neat little custom capability for that particular dealership to do some very custom stuff. Show you one other thing here. This is just the customer satisfaction index. Basically, customers, owners get to tell you how satisfied they are with the dealership. This lets the dealership log in and they can launch this, and it basically brings up a report that tells them, you know, what the owners, the boat owners, you know, think about the dealership. So again, more communication from a single source area between Bennington, the end customer, and the dealers that serve them. And yeah, let's move along. I think that's fine for now. So let's say we want to, we got the customer with us, and we want to, let's just say this particular one, well, I guess it doesn't matter whether they came in or not. When they go to the design center, really basically you'll recognize this because it's the same interface that you saw when you were coming in, build a boat from the website. So now we got the dealer or the salesperson at the dealership talking to a customer. They're going to go through the same process here. I'll go through this one even quicker just to show you some of the difference now, because now we're going through the dealership, right? We're going to have different pricing, right? This isn't internet pricing anymore. This is specific pricing based on that dealership. So I will go and quickly pick some stuff, and it's going to do some selecting for me, just enough to get some stuff showing up here. And let's go look at my details. So yeah, there's my priced out window sticker. Right now it's showing the SRP or MSRP just like you would if you hit it from the website. But because I'm a dealer now, I have this control panel access. What that means is I can come here and I can do other stuff. I can view pricing in a different manner. I can show MSRP. I can also show my sale price, which is really maybe what you'd present to the customer. And you'll see all these pricing right now. That's the MSRP at this point. If I say change the sale price, now you'll see they all change. If I want to say just show me my dealer cost, maybe you do, maybe you don't show that in front of your customer, right? But you have that ability, depending on your login, to fully affect your pricing based, again, when you think back to when I showed you those dealer settings, where you can go in and set your rates, that's kind of what's going on here, is it's applying those specific to that dealership. On a quote by quote or order by order basis, you can come in here, and if you have permissions, you can even go in and you can affect your margins and change this. Now, this won't change those margins across the board for every boat, but it will for this particular order. So basically, it's the ability to override your default settings, if you want to do some additional negotiations with the customers. Okay, so that's kind of how this all kind of ties together, is the dealers go and maintain all their stuff. Then when they've got customers in here, the boat builder and configurator takes into account all the dealer specific pricing and so on, and gets applied throughout that process. So one other thing I think is probably useful to show here. See how we're doing on time. Not too bad, actually. Yeah, so we showed the quote and order. We showed that design center. We showed pretty much of that. Let's say we went ahead and ordered the boat. It went through all that processing and so on, and customer has it. And now they've got, they want to order some parts, something broke, or they just want to order some additional stereo equipment or what have you. They've built in, Bennington has, again, using this app's capability, an entire warranty and parts ordering system. And what that means is, first of all, I need to know a serial number, so bear with me. Forgot to memorize it. There we go. So let's do this. Okay, so I'm in the parts and warranty section here. You can see there's tons of tabs, a lot of visibility to do a lot of things. If I type in even a partial serial number and tab out of the field, it looks to see, and it was contained inside of this. This was a full serial number. Found this. So here's the scenario where, a boat owner calls the dealership and says, hey, my boat has a problem, or I want to order something for it, or what have you. Okay, tell us your serial number, types it in here, brings back every bit of information about that boat. Here's all the boat information, type, and so on and so forth. Here's the customer information at a glance, as well as the dealership. So depending on who they called, maybe they're calling Bennington, and Bennington can bring this up and see the dealership, so on and so forth. So anything and everything about that boat is brought up on this tab. Then you can get into more detail. This tab here, for instance, shows every feature option that was included on that boat. So really, that's kind of the window sticker of that boat as configured, all the way down to what happened during the build process. So this is really, think of this as feedback from your ERP system. Let's say, engine was shipped prior to boat building or whatever. Whatever these comments are, these are potentially relevant comments that might be useful for whatever reasons to understand what happened during that manufacturing process itself. So feedback from the ERP, once again, into this centrally stored area, all the way down to the parts list of, again, relevant parts that maybe these are ones that can be ordered, reordered, or what have you. List of parts orders. These are parts that have already been ordered by that owner of that boat in the past. So the dealership has ready access to everything that has already been ordered for that boat over the lifetime of the boat, down to the detail. There's a lot more stuff you can do with that. I'll just kind of keep things at somewhat high level. So, but again, full visibility of everything that went on with that boat from the moment it was built to the moment it was bought to the moment that customers are, embellishing on it by adding new, cup holders, stereo, whatever. That's parts orders. Warranty claims. Now these are claims against that boat. So something broke, right? Cup holder broke, or the seat got ripped, or whatever. These are the warranty claims. And again, you can drill down in detail and see every little bit of information about what happened so far with the warranty. And maybe you'll have comments on this tab such as, hey, it's the third time that they've broken the cup holder is broken. Maybe they shouldn't let their kids use the bar, right? So maybe, but all the information is at their fingertips as to what's going on with this boat, what's happened with the customer, so on, and on and on. All the way to, well, here's parts manuals. So this is just all the manuals that are relevant for this particular boat. And this is the actual entry form. So if I were to order another part, I would use a form like this, and just gives you the capabilities of bringing up parts and ordering them through here. Same with this. This is the form for entering a warranty claim. I don't know how to use it, but it's something like this, right? So you scroll down, and this is what you define what happened, what you want to claim. That goes back, or perhaps maybe even stops you right here. It says, hold on, that's not within warranty. Or if it's, if it's contested, maybe there's some back and forth. And it keeps track also of all the communication back and forth of between the dealer, the owner, and Bennington as to, well, hold on, they want this, well, we'll go check and see. And all of that history is stored as well for the warranty claims. Parts pricing, just another page here. This is just someone calls and they say, hey, how much for that, for that extra cup holder or what have you. Put in the part number, you get to understand, or it'll tell you everything about the price of that. So a lot more goes on here that I'm sure I don't even know how to explain, but it was certainly a quite a robust system put in place for Bennington, very specific to them. But what you'll see is when we talk a little bit more about all this apps stuff, is what we've tried to do here is wherever it makes sense. When someone's looking for something custom and we help them build that, hey, if this is something we want to build into our system and it becomes part of this out of the box, then we always look for that opportunity. And we've actually seized that opportunity, and we built some parts ordering and warranty. We've got kind of a generic package of parts ordering and warranty system that now comes along with the package. May have to be tweaked for your own specific business, but you're not working from scratch anymore. You're working with, an existing entity. And so we're getting, we're finding ourselves doing more and more of that. But certainly this is really what's one of the parts about what our offering is through this thing. And, we call it apps. It's really, again, the ability to customize parts of your system using our tools, not calling our developers and having our programmers work it, but working with our solutions people to kind of build it yourself. So that really kind of opens up the door to virtually anything you want to do. If your ERP system has certain things it doesn't quite do the way you wish it would, you got two options. One is to call the ERP vendor and say, hey, can you do this for me? Or option two might be, hey, you know what? I can do that inside here. I can create an app, and I can give myself a list that I can go do validations against or what have you, and I can handle a certain process. So a lot of capabilities there. So I want to open this up for questions. I've been doing a lot of talking. Hopefully what we've, this is kind of what we had made as an agenda. Hopefully we haven't quite covered this. I want to make sure that we can at least give you an opportunity to ask some more questions here. But I think one of the things that we've hopefully demonstrated to you is, the ability to basically put expert information at the fingertips of your dealers, reps, so they can sell faster. Obviously, I think you can see a lot of the stuff we've shown here really makes that process a lot easier. In fact, most of this, right, is simpler for the customers to buy. Simplify. A lot of that is, simplifying and building better relationships and reducing errors, all that good stuff. And it kind of, we'll have to get the metrics out of Bennington. I'm not sure if Jason has those or not, but or if these are them. But the idea is, once they put this thing in place, they really have gone skyrocketing, and and it's really done a lot for their bottom line, and not only new business through customers, but much, much better relations with their dealers and coordination with their dealers. And the kind of money that gets lost or spent or wasted trying to manage and control all that stuff without a centralized system like this is really hard to calculate all that wasted money. So, but it's quite large. So the savings here has been immense for Bennington, and ultimately that results in reduced manufacturing costs. Again, didn't really kind of cover this, so I'm going to open it up now to questions about really any of this or anything that I left out or anything else in general.
Yeah, thanks, Kevin. This is Jason, and I'm gonna take it back just to show one parting slide when we're done here, and to kind of just give people an idea of the other video that we can make available that is a whole different implementation that does the same thing with engaging sales channels. Just so you know that you're not stuck with one path. Like, these are very customizable solutions that the folks have used on our platform or built on our platform. Yeah, if I could get control back for a second.
Coming your way.
Obviously, people can feel free to shout questions now, and we'll hopefully get them answered. And but as you know, just as quick, so what you're seeing now is, Renewer. This is actually a Made2Manage ERP user who has attacked our solution as well. They've had complex ordering processes. They needed a portal for their channels. Their prior vendor was not offering their necessary tools. They wanted a digital transformation. And so they selected us, and they've been building. I think they're live with some channels, but they're still building their tools to really make that a full digital transformation for their company that started with them a couple years ago. So they are they're a very different type of user than Bennington, but at the core, it's similar, engaging with all their different sales vehicles. We can make it a video available, that one, that you guys can watch at your leisure. We can certainly make that available through PeopleSense team or ourselves. So just reach out and we'll get that in your hands, so you can kind of see a different flavor for this. So any questions for us?
Yeah, hi, this is Mel with DCI.
Hello.
I have a question with the configurator there, part of it. Is that, because I know we were with Intuitive, and we're using their advanced configurator. Does that integrate with the advanced configurator, or is it your own configurator that you're using?
This is our own tech. Yeah. So about in 2013, we started our CEO, who actually was a customer of the old advanced configurator, started building his own app, and so Kevin and I have a little history with that old advanced configurator as well. And we joined forces with him, and as he built this cloud solution that goes well beyond that manufacturing configurator side. So it is our own tech inside the tools.
Okay, so if we decide to go down this road, we can use your configurator to replace an advanced configurator as well internally?
That certainly is a scenario. Most of the customers who do Made2Manage or Intuitive today, we have an Intuitive integration. There's a couple third parties out there that offer Made2Manage integrations, but we have an Intuitive integration in-house. So that is certainly something that can be done all in one solution, correct?
Okay, perfect.
Any other questions? Okay, I think if there's no other questions, obviously I think Brian and Gary could certainly pass our contact information if anything comes up, and if you want to take a more generic dive or a deeper dive, or if you want some of to be exposed to the Renewer solution, we'd be happy to make more collateral information about our tools available and how our customers are really leveraging the tool to save money, save time, and really get more engagement with their sales channels. So we're happy to make ourselves available if anything comes up.
And this recording, this has been recorded, and it will be available on the PeopleSense website probably tomorrow. So if you want to look at it again or show it to someone else, it'll be available on the PeopleSense website.
Thank you so much, Brian and Gary, for putting us together today.
You're welcome.
Yes, thank you, guys.
Thank you. Bye now.
You bet.